What's up guys, welcome back to Fix or Pass. This is our third episode where we bring you current listings of muscle car projects around the country and give you our opinion of whether you should fix on or pass on. So let's get it cracking. Very first car right off the bat, we have a 69 Camaro roller project. This car is listed in Bay City, Michigan area. So this is up in the Northeast. And this is a drag car. Right off the bat, you can tell it's got a lot of drag car elements. Let's read a little bit about it real quick. Rally green, code 79, white Z28 stripes, narrowed Ford 9-inch, roll cage. Okay, so he's just listing a bunch of like drag car stuff. Goodyear slicks, 14 by 32s. I like that. Measuring your tires in American inches is always cool. So $14,500, possible trade plus cash. This is a cool car. If you're looking to go fast in a straight line, you want to start building a drag car. This car is back half, it looks like. It's a popular thing to do with drag cars. They basically cut the whole back behind the front seat out of the car. Floors, everything, frame rails, and they put in new, like usually 2x4 rectangular tubing to accommodate how big and wide that tire is. You can see in the picture here how much more room that takes up in the back, and that's another reason for the aluminum floor, the sheet metal work you see there. But yeah, this car is already back half, so it's already got the suspension set up for drag racing. Let's get an overall shot. Yeah, look at the size of those tires. This is definitely probably not going to be a daily driver. This is going to be, it's fully caged, this is going to be a drag car. So it's actually a good start to that. You want to check what kind of class you're going to be running, how fast you think you're going to be running, and look at the rule book for the roll cage and make sure everything's up to date with that. Just because this cage is in here, it might not pass tech if that's the route you're going. So think about that, but it's got a lot of sheet metal work done in the back. Pretty cool car. I would say fix. If this is what you're looking for, you're trying to go fast in a cool looking Camaro in a straight line, fix this car. All right, moving on. This is listed on ClassicCars.com in Pembroke Pines, Florida. Pembroke Pines. This is a 56 Nomad, really cool car. All Nomads are cool in my opinion. They make great Restomods. This is a project car. Customer project gone south, okay. So this is probably professionally built. Somebody was paying to have this built. You start looking at the parts list on this thing. Art Morrison frame, GM Performance ZZ572, so it's got a 620 horsepower big block. Just the list goes on and on. This is all the good parts. You know, you see a lot of good brands in here, narrowed, mini tubbed. It's got all these cool keywords to build a cool car. Kindig door handles, exhaust cutouts, basically a wish list for the ultimate resto mod. A lot of parts involved. So this car, what are we asking here? $70,000 is the listing asking price on this car. I think it's worth it. Some of these parts can add up really quick. I think just in the frame and the engine, you probably have close to $50,000 there. So you're buying a Nomad with all these cool parts. Let's look at some pictures. Yeah, so a lot of these parts are already installed. This car probably has to come back apart to get painted and detailed out, and you're probably gonna want to powder coat or paint the chassis. But you can see they're building it right. Usually a car at this level, they mock everything up, know that it fits. Looks like somebody's done that. They're in the process of that before you blow it apart and paint it. I would say if you're looking for a Nomad and you were trying to build a real high-end Nomad, this entry price is pretty good. You're gonna save a lot of money and time. You know, some of these parts are not immediately available right now because of supply chain issues. So you'll be way ahead if you buy this car. All the parts are there. I'd say fix. These Nomads are very valuable when they're all finished, so definitely fix. This one's got all the good parts. Next one on eBay, 71 Monte Carlo. Starting bid $10,000, so 0 bids on this one so far. Let's read a little bit about it. It's got a replacement small block. It's got some hot rod parts for metal block, turbo 350, frame and chassis coated in rust protective paint. That's always good. Factory black bench, new battery, new tray, nice rust-free windshield. Trunk floor is original wiring, all regulators work. 2 sets of keys, Virginia title in my name. Okay, very cool car. Let's look at some pictures of this. 71 Monte Carlo, this is a great looking car. This is a GM, I think this is on the A-body chassis. Looks pretty complete, pretty rust free. These cars get some rust commonly down in this rocker area and the fenders. You want to look there above these wheel lips. If they've been in the Northeast anywhere, they've kicked up salt sometimes and they start rusting out here. This one looks pretty clean in those areas. Trunk area, back in here, they trap water and they rust. Always look at that if you're looking at one of these. I mean, that's kind of across the board in these 60s and 70s cars. This area, this trunk shelf drop off on the inside traps a lot of stuff. It'll rust out there. Same with the window surrounds. So I think he mentioned that it has a rust-free window surround, so he knows what people are looking for and what people are gonna ask. This is a cool car. So the engine's in there. This thing, you could hop in and go. This thing's just primered, ready for you to paint it. Starting bid at $10,000, I think that's very fair. These cars aren't as popular as the Chevelles, but it's a great looking car. This thing all finished up, really neat car. I think if you were to be able to pick this car up in this $10,000 to $15,000 range, I think you'd be ahead of the game. And I would say fix, definitely fix. This car's got a lot of hard work done. You could probably drive it as is and work on it as funds allow. This car was in Tokyo Drift. I think it was like tan with a bare steel roof and a big block. Kind of a cool car in that movie. It had that like tough guy feel to it. So you could do that with this car. You can do whatever you want with this car. Fix it how you want it. 71 heavy Chevy Chevelle restoration project. So we're on Craigslist now in the New Bedford area. So this is gonna be like Rhode Island, I guess. These cars get rusty out here. Just looking at the pictures right off the bat, this car is much rougher than most of the other cars we looked at. There's a few parts here and there. Boy, this is a big project, but this is kind of, yeah, so we got some heavy floor damage, or that's not a floor anymore. You're looking at the ground here. These are like, I think that's the trans cross member. So there's just no floors in this car. This happens back east. These cars get rotted out. So expect that. This is also not very expensive. It's $7,500. Let's read the description here. Original 71 heavy Chevy, matching numbers, original drivetrain, 350 with a Muncie 4-speed. Floors have been removed. Okay, so they probably cut most of that out, what we're looking at. New cowl hood, boxes of parts. This is a very affordable project, but this is a long-term project. It's a great car. 71 Chevelle is never a bad thing. Depends on what level you want to take this to. You're gonna have a long road ahead of you if you want to restore this car to better than new specifications. If you just want a beater that you can drive around, this is a good entry-level car that you can start with. Chevelles, there's a lot of info and parts available. If you're looking for a project that you're not looking to make perfect or super nice, you just want a cool muscle car you can cruise, maybe this will be for you. I'm gonna go ahead and pass on this. Just looking at the lack of floors, it frightens me a little bit. Because if that's the case, you know, you want to look, the rest of this car is going to have rust and some hidden areas. Oh, the biggest thing I'm looking at here, something to look at, this says the condition is salvage. So a lot of times that's related to the title status. This one says title status clean, so that's a little confusing. So look at that. Always look at a title when you're looking at a car. Some cars have a rebuilt title, which means they were either in a wreck or maybe stolen at some point. A rebuilt title is always going to affect the value of a car. So when you're thinking about dumping a lot of money and a lot of time into a car, if you ever want to go sell it, that rebuilt or salvage title, or you know, different states call it different things, but that's going to affect the value. So something to look at when you're looking at cars for sure. I mean, no car is ever too far gone. I've seen some cars that are almost nothing and they're brought back to life, and there's reproduction parts to rebuild this car. It's just up to you how much time and money you want to put into it. If it's a sentimental value car and you're not looking to get money back out of it, keep that car and work with what you got. If it's the specific car that has sentimental value to you, nothing is too far gone. I've seen really, really bad cars that someone's just bound and determined to get back to life, and they'll do it. So it's metal and welding and time and money. So if the car means something to you, put the time and money into it. If you're just looking for a project, maybe take a little more time and look for something in nicer condition. I always say the nicer car you start with, the nicer finished product. So if that's what you're looking, a nice finished product, try and get the nicest car you can afford to start with. So moving on, we're on OfferUp now in New York. This is something a little different for us. This is not really a muscle car, but it's definitely a cool, neat little project. This is a 53 Willys Jeep. I believe they call these CJ-3B, if I'm not mistaken. It's got a little taller hood than the CJ-3A. So let's read a little bit about this. I acquired it as a project, but in my current situation, unable to give it the time and love it deserves. As far as I know, it did run when parked. Doesn't run now. It is a 69-year-old New York vehicle, so it has its fair share of rust, but has solid bones, has good bones underneath. Floor panels aren't rusty. I have mirrors and missing parts. Okay, so he's very brief on it, but it's kind of a cool car, or Jeep, I would say. So this has a hardtop, which you don't see all the time, but being in that New York area, I can see how having a hardtop is necessary. It gets really cold. You get a lot of weather up there. A lot of these cars that you're looking at in these areas are gonna have rust. It's common. If you live up there, you already know that. We looked at a few cars last episode in like the Southwest area in the United States, and there seems to be more cars with less rust in those areas. If you live down there, you're probably a little spoiled, you know this, but not everyone lives down there, and sometimes you're not willing to travel. You know, it costs money to ship a car, so you have to weigh those options. But this Jeep is neat. I love the look of this Jeep. It's definitely rusty. It's got a lot of weight reduction, I guess you would call it here. So he's up front with a lot of the pictures. It's got some floors in it. Not sure if that's stock. The Jeep guys would have to chime in on that. It's got some interesting add-on bracketry here. Not sure what that's for. It's got a like original-ish 4-cylinder. You can do a lot with these Jeeps. Having that taller hood, you can put a taller engine in there. Some guys, I've even seen guys put small block V8s, but I think the V6, like a GM V6, is a popular swap in these. This is a cool little truck to bop around in if you got some property. These Jeeps are basically tractors. This is like an implement vehicle, I would say. But at 4,000 bucks, you could really have a lot of fun with this. You could take this back, tinker on it, get it running. They're really fun to drive. They're small, compact, they're simple to work on. You know, these were kind of designed to be able to work on out in the field during the war and stuff. So that rings true no matter what. I like these Jeeps. I would say fix this one. You know, depending on whether you wanted to restore it all the way, you got a long road ahead of you, but Jeeps are neat. They have their place. This is not really a Restomod, but this is a fun little old project that you could get into. If you're in that area, this might be a good little winter project. I know you guys get some weather. You have a building season where you can get locked in the garage and just build a car. So this might be a cool one for that. I would say fix. So I think really the only one I passed on is gonna be this really rusty Chevelle here. Everything else fixable. So get out there, find these cars. These are all active listings. We're gonna post the link down in the description if you guys are interested in any of these vehicles. They all kind of had their own purpose. One of them was a drag car, one of them was a Jeep, one of them was like gonna be a show car. The Monte Carlo is like probably your everyday guy's muscle car. So we brought you some good variety. No Mopars this episode, no Fords. We'll bring you some more of those, we promise. We don't discriminate, but this was a Chevy heavy episode. So for all you Chevy guys, come look at some of these cars. And if you guys are out there poking around and sitting on a really cool listing for a project car that you're debating whether you should fix or pass on it, send us the link. We want to review some of these cars that you guys are looking at. And if you have a project you want to sell, send us that too. We'll put it out there for everyone to see and give our opinion on fix or pass. And tune in next week. We're gonna bring you more live listings every Wednesday. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so that you get first crack at all these vehicles that we're bringing you. Thanks for watching.